Your next AI assistant will not just answer questions. It will ask for keys. Keys to your email, keys to your calendar, keys to your documents, keys to your browser, keys to your accounts. Maybe, eventually, keys to your money, your travel, your messages, and the quiet little systems that keep your life from becoming a spreadsheet fire. That is the real agent story. Not a chatbot that writes a polite paragraph. An operator. A permissioned little gremlin that can go into your digital life and actually do things. And that sounds amazing, right up until you remember what do things means. Send the email. Move the meeting. Book the flight. Cancel the subscription. Fill the form. Click the button. Maybe click the wrong button because the future is powerful, but apparently still very capable of being an intern with a flamethrower. So when people talk about OpenClaw versus Google Remy, I don't think the real question is which assistant is smarter. That's too shallow. The real question is who controls the thing acting on your behalf? Because the personal AI agent war is not just about convenience. It is about operational control over your digital life. Do you want the agent that is deeply integrated into the platform that already holds your email, calendar, search, browser, phone, maps, videos, documents, and probably your emotional support spreadsheet? Or do you want the independent agent that can reach across your tools but asks you to carry more of the setup, supervision, and security burden yourself? That is the trade. Convenience versus control. And if AI agents actually work, that trade becomes one of the biggest technology choices normal people will make.
Chapter 1. Your assistant wants the keys.
Let's start by cleaning up the word agent, because the internet has already taken it behind a shed and beaten it into marketing confetti. A chatbot answers. An agent acts. That is the simplest distinction. A chatbot can tell you how to organize your inbox. An agent tries to organize it. A chatbot can suggest flights. An agent tries to check options, compare details, maybe book one, and then remind you that you now have to explain to your family why you picked a 6 a.m. departure like a criminal. The shift is not the model talks better. The shift is that the model gets tools: browser access, email access, calendar access, document access, app integrations, memory, permissions, maybe computer usability, meaning it can click, type, scroll, fill out forms, and operate normal, messy interfaces the way a human would. That is why agents feel like the next step after chatbots. Chatbots are advisors. Agents are operators. And once you say operator, the stakes change. Because an operator needs permission. And permission is where the whole story gets spicy. This is also why Remy matters, even though Remy has not publicly launched. Business Insider reports Google is internally testing a Gemini-based personal agent called Remy, described as a 24/7 assistant for work, school, and daily life. That means this is not a product review. There is no public Remy for us to kick around like a YouTube gadget. It is a warning shot. It shows where Google is likely trying to take Gemini, from chatbox to assistant to personal operator. And that direction makes perfect sense. Google already has the terrain a personal agent wants: Gmail, calendar, Drive, Docs, Maps, YouTube, Search, Chrome, Android, Gemini. A startup has to ask for access. Google already owns half the roads. That does not mean Google automatically wins. but it does mean Google starts with an enormous advantage in integration. If your agent needs to know your schedule, read your email, understand your files, navigate your browser, search the web, locate a restaurant, plan a route, and draft a message, Google has a terrifyingly convenient answer. It already lives there. And that's the first uncomfortable truth. The best personal agent may not be the one with the cleverest demo. It may be the one closest to your data.
Chapter 2: OpenClaw versus the Google machine. Now put OpenClaw on the other side of the board. OpenClaw's pitch is simple and very smart. The AI that actually does things. Clears your inbox, sends emails, manages your calendar, checks you in for flights, works through WhatsApp, Telegram, or chat apps people already use. That is a strong pitch because it skips the philosophical TED Talk and goes straight to the pain. Nobody wakes up thinking, I need a multimodal agentic architecture. They wake up thinking, why do I have 4,000 unread emails and a dentist appointment hiding somewhere like a landmine? OpenClaw's appeal is that it represents the independent agent instinct, not come live entirely inside one platform's ecosystem. More like, connect to the tools you already use, operate across them, and give the user an assistant that feels more like their own thing. That matters because the Google version of the future is very convenient, but convenience always comes with a shadow. If the most useful agent lives inside one company's ecosystem, then your assistant may inherit that ecosystem's incentives, its permissions, its memory rules, its product boundaries, its ad history, its subscription model, its safety constraints, its corporate priorities, its definition of what a helpful action even is. That is not automatically evil, but it is not neutral either. A platform-native agent will always be tempted to become the front door to the platform. And if the front door is also your assistant, your search engine, your email clerk, your scheduler, and your digital errand runner, then suddenly leaving the ecosystem becomes a lot harder. That's ecosystem lock-in with a smile and a calendar invite. OpenClaw-style agents push back against that. They say, what if the assistant is not owned by the platform? What if it connects across platforms? What if the user can run more of it themselves? What if the interface is just the chat app you already use? That is the control argument. But it has a shadow too. Independence often means more friction, more setup, more configuration, more security responsibility, more failure modes, more ways for a powerful tool to touch something it should not touch because you connected the wrong account, installed the wrong skill, or trusted the wrong workflow. So this is not Google bad, startup good. That would be baby food. It is more interesting than that. Google offers integration. OpenClaw offers agency over the agent. And the fight is not just which one can do more, it is which trade-off you can actually live with. Chapter 3: The Permission Problem.
The key word in this whole episode is not AI. It's permission. Because a personal agent without permissions is basically a motivational speaker with autocomplete. It can advise you, it can summarize, it can suggest, it can generate a little plan with bullet points and the emotional depth of a corporate offsite. But if it cannot act, it is not really an agent. So to become useful, it needs access. And that is where the cute assistant becomes infrastructure. If an agent can read your inbox, it can help you triage messages. It can also see sensitive information. If it can send email, it can save you time. It can also send something wrong, rude, confidential, or legally exciting. If it can manage your calendar, it can reduce friction. It can also schedule your life into a small,
personal hostage situation. If it can browse the web and fill forms, it can complete tasks. It can also get tricked by malicious pages, dark patterns, fake buttons, or instructions hidden in the environment. This is why browser and computer use agents are both powerful and terrifying. Google's computer use model is aimed at exactly the messy interface layer: clicking, typing, scrolling, filling forms, operating web and mobile interfaces. That is a huge step toward general-purpose agents. But the moment an AI can operate a normal interface, it inherits all the dangers humans face, plus some new ones. Humans get phished. Agents can get prompt injected. Humans click the wrong button. Agents can click the wrong button at machine speed. Humans get manipulated by confusing design. Agents may treat the page itself like instructions if the system is not designed carefully. So the safety layer has to be boring and strong. Confirmations, interruptibility, permission limits, audit logs, sandboxing, memory boundaries, clear visibility into what the agent did and why. If it can send an email, you need to approve the send. If it can buy something, you need a checkpoint. If it can delete files, archive messages, change settings, move money, or message another human being, then the default should not be, "Sure, little buddy, follow your dreams." The default should be, "Show me what you're doing, show me why, and stop when I say stop." Google's Gemini agent already says it asks for confirmation before critical actions and lets users take control or stop the task. That is the right direction. Open-style agents need the same seriousness, maybe more. Because once a personal agent can run tools on your devices or inside your accounts, the security model is not a footnote. It is the product. And this is the part most hype videos skip. Reliability is not enough. An agent can be useful 99 times and still ruin your day on the 100th if the 100th task was important enough. So the question becomes, what can it access? What can it change? What does it log? What requires approval? How do I shut it down? And who benefits when it decides what helpful means? That is the permission problem, and permission is the battlefield.
Chapter 4: Who owns the agent? Now let's look forward. If Remy, or something like Remy, launches around Google I/O or later, the obvious pitch will be convenience. And honestly, it will probably be very compelling. Imagine an agent that lives inside Gemini, watches the important parts of your digital life, learns your preferences, handles routine tasks, summarizes what matters, finds open time, drafts messages, prepares documents, monitors interests, and gets things done before you ask twice. That is the dream. It is also the trapdoor, because a truly useful personal agent becomes sticky fast. The more it learns your preferences, the more painful it becomes to leave. The more accounts it connects, the more central it becomes. The more history it remembers, the more it becomes part of your workflow. The more it acts, the more you organize your life around its abilities. That is why ownership matters. A bad chatbot is annoying. A bad agent is an operational risk. And a good agent controlled by someone else may still become a dependency you did not fully choose. This is the future I think we're heading toward. Google likely wins mainstream convenience first, not because independent agents are doomed, but because mainstream users do not want to configure their own digital butler with a terminal window and a prayer candle. They want it to work. They want it inside the apps they already use. They want fewer decisions, not a new part-time job in agent administration.
So Google has a very real path to making the personal agent feel normal. But independent agents like OpenClaw may win among builders, power users, privacy-minded users, and people who do not want their entire digital life routed through one company's assistant. That split feels likely. Mainstream convenience on one side, user control and cross-platform autonomy on the other. And both sides will pressure each other. Google will be forced to offer better controls because independent agents will make lock-in look creepy. Open agents will be forced to become safer and easier because Google will make convenience feel effortless. That competition is good. The nightmare is if everyone gets powerful agents before the permission, audit, and safety layers mature. That future looks like agents sending messages you didn't fully approve, booking things you didn't understand, oversharing data, getting manipulated by web pages, or quietly turning your digital life into a series of automated oops. The best case is much better. Your agent becomes a real tool, a supervised operator, a digital chief of staff that handles the low-value friction while you keep authority over the important actions. Not autonomous chaos, delegated control. That is the healthy version. So the viewer checklist is simple. Before trusting any personal agent, ask, what can it access? What can it change? What needs approval? What does it remember? Can I inspect its actions? Can I shut it down instantly? Can I move to another agent without losing my digital life? Those questions matter more than benchmark scores. Because the personal agent war is not about chatbots. It is about who gets operational control over your digital life. Remy is hypothetical as a public product, but the choice it represents is not. And when AI agents start acting for you, the real fight is convenience versus control. Choose carefully. Signal over hype. Subscribe to join the expedition.